This is Morten from Inkish. We are still here at Canon's fantastic experience center in Poing, just outside Munich. And I'm still here with Cindy.
Hey.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You have brought a fantastic range of samples here. Is that already, cannot be printed all in inkjet, can it?
It is all printed in inkjet, of course. And yeah, I just wanted to give you a flavor of what inkjet can do. And by far that is not everything. It's just, some samples.
When we spoke about the color stream before, and I also spoke to Hans about the Pro stream, we talked about that often you have also, let's say, the binding equipment based on the applications. But I mean, this show that you can basically do anything, right? These kind of jobs, is that typical where you have like a cut stack solution, then you have offline binding, or can a lot of this also be done inline?
A lot of this can be done inline, of course, but looking at the variety, this is something we spoke earlier about transactional printers that are moving now, of course, to replace the volumes. And there we see everything from a calendar, via books, via mailings, which is of course pretty close to what they do currently.
Can I just ask you something? Sorry to interrupt, but when you look at a mailing like these, for example, right? I mean, of course, you have hopefully a fake address for this one, and you have your discount coupons here. I mean, I guess that a transactional printer and their customers instantly understand the value of color, instantly understand the value of what this can do, right?
Right, absolutely. They understand the value of the color, of the personalization, or let's call it customization, because actually they customize to each customer, so they do look what's the history behind, and then each customer gets a different postcard. So it's not all the same. It's not just different address, it's different images, different discounts, because you have the good customers and the others. And that's what they exactly see. And this is the advantage that they sell, that you don't mail to everyone in a large quantity, but you do customize it, so you really have a return on your investment into that mailing.
Do you know, I mean, because I guess that Canon, the size of Canon, a company like yours, also sometimes do, let's say, research on how valuable this is compared to just let's say, a black and white statement. Is there a measurable difference in return on investment when you do these kind of things?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the first advantage is if you combine it with transactional, then you already have the longest time people read something.
Yeah.
The other thing is that with the customization, you get 16% around in reaction.
Okay.
So reaction means in a direct purchase of that person. Compared to I send out many mailings and hope someone
will react to it. Okay. Then we step up to this one. This is also a typical like transactional job that adds value because it has more personalized data and more colors on it, right? Tell me a little bit about this. I mean, this is a typical like A4 job, right?
That's a typical A4 job, and this is a mailing being triggered after a person looked online what this insurance provider can do. So there's already a lot of information available where this person ticked the boxes, and you see here two versions of that, being one the high security type because they cycle on streets, and the other one being a lower security risk. So they get different offers depending on how they answered the questions, and this can be all packed. And so again, you have a customization in here towards the answers that you've received already and all the information available to you by this customer.
If you have, I was just thinking that if I was, let's say, a PSP that wanted to enter into this business, I do really see and appreciate the quality I see here. But I was wondering, I mean, all the data and all the handling that needs to be printed on the right customer with the right information, is that managed outside the Canon ecosystem, or is that something that you can also help people with?
The data management takes place outside the Canon ecosystem. we take everything that is already in a printable design.
Okay, fantastic. And then we have this one. That is the same insurance company. This is no, I thought it was an envelope, but it's a mailer.
It's a self-mailer,
Yeah.
right?
And that is basically just extending to the, let's say, the letter. And then basically you have something here that again is personalized, is a little bit thicker substrate, but still looks stunning. What machine is this being printed on?
That's the ColorStream 8000 series.
Okay. I mean, because when you look at this, the surfaces look fantastic, right? Wow. Great. What else do you have here? Oh, you have some books.
Plenty of books.
You love books, don't you?
I love books.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that all the market research institutes, and also something we see at our customers, it's growing. It's the largest growth segment, books, and books in all flavors. So we have here a version that is a mock-up sample of a book, shall give a trade book example, and on the other side the sample for how it would look like in, let's say, more higher state, like educational books or something like that. So you just flip it around, and depending on which side you choose, you have that.
It's funny you mentioned the research, because I was at a conference in Stockholm, I think it was, a couple of years ago, and there was a publisher, and they, you know, when the ebooks were about to get to the market, they thought that everything would move there. And they realized that it only happened with a fraction of the book market. And he basically said that the research was that a majority of books sold today are sold as gifts. And who wants a QR code as a gift, right? They rather prefer to have a real book, right?
Absolutely. And we see that young people come to appreciate the book. So the generation we thought that would solely look on digital devices appreciates the printed book. And this is really good news for all of us.
Yeah. One of the things that I think a lot of printing companies that think of books maybe forget is that maybe the circulation on each book is decreasing, but then you have more and more books, and also the reprint of back catalogs is a tremendous business opportunity, basically. I know that you have in Canon, you have these. Is it called book publishing days, or what is it called? You have
Future Book Forum.
Future Book Forum. Sorry, I couldn't remember. But that is that's where you invite publishers to come and see for themselves that it's not a quality discussion anymore, right?
Well, it's a platform. We bring together the publishers and the printers in order to educate around what is possible in the segment. And let's be frank, the publishers see their benefit immediately. Because if you don't have this warehousing cost anymore, you can focus on your publishing business much better. You have all the backlist titles that you would usually completely leave out. You can have them in because you just print them when you have an order. And this whole concept of first sell the title and then print it is of course very appealing. And increases the turnaround volume.
And again, it looks stunning here. And I guess also that when you have a digital workflow, basically the color is always the same, and you can replicate it. So, I mean, I have been at so many press checks, so maybe you have as well, right? But that is not necessary anymore, right? Because basically you can have print of one without being concerned about quality, right?
That's one of the large benefits of digital technologies. That whenever you put something on your ProStream or ColorStream, not just that you can align the quality, you can make sure that after 1 year, if that customer orders again the same title one time, it looks the same. And the color stability of the digital web-fed inkjet is amazing.
It's when you said, for example, that publishers get it right away because they can see that they don't have to have huge inventories. Do you think there's an acceptance that maybe digital books can be a little bit more expensive because they save the cost on warehousing, or?
Again, we are here in the business model part, and yes, I agree, they see that part, and of course it is more expensive printing just one title. On the other hand side, the storage cost that you save, and let's be frank, a lot of these books usually went only to print, never saw their customer, they never had a reader, and then get wasted. And this is a lot of money as well because you pay for the waste as well.
Precisely, yeah. So basically, this is huge opportunity for printing companies that want to print books because maybe a little bit higher profit on it, more, let's say, a bigger, tighter integration with the publishing system because you need to print every day, basically, right? Yeah, fantastic. Is this something where you believe that Canon has advantages over your competitors when it comes to the book? I mean, because you are the ones that do these book events, and I guess that's why you have seen that as a strategic area for you.
We saw it as one of the biggest business growth areas. On the other hand side, it is also a field of expertise that we as a company have, and where we can offer a complete solution from the very beginning on how to link that modules together. That you get.
We saw the color stream just a moment ago, right? I mean, where you have almost like a finished book coming out of it, right?
Right, and we have with the Prisma production output management system, we have the perfect, let's say, the brain behind that structures the work for the color stream, so the color stream can just run through.
Yeah, and here is again another application, Stitch magazine. I mean, again, it looks super nice. I guess Frankie is very happy with Canon, right?
Frankie is very happy with Canon. We also see with magazines lower run length, but we also see that a lot of companies are still printing these kind of magazines. Yeah. And even these kind of magazines are getting more bespoke, so they're tailored to the customer needs. And that's one reason why we do that in digital printing.
What about, I mean, if you look at magazines and things like this, it's typically like, I mean, longer print runs and also a little bit price sensitive in the market. When you look at inkjet today, is it becoming more and more, let's say, competitive also in relation to offset, or is it still a big difference? Or
we still see a big difference.
So the business models needs to be different.
The direction of
one-to-one.
What you see in the normal stores around, what is generally available, that's not really our market. Our market is having more bespoke catalogs. Also companies that want to, this is more like a magalog, so it's a mixed version of magazine and catalog, giving some background information, at the same time acting as a showcase to trigger customers then to buy. Yeah.
And it's funny to think of because, I mean, if you look at these type of examples here, right, it is also showing how the market is maybe changing a little bit from, let's say, just being collaterals to being more information and bridging those things. And now, because you can make few copies at a reasonable total cost, makes total sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some postcards here. Yeah. And just extending on the postcard, Cindy, I was just thinking because what we have here as a background, this is also postcards that are not being cut. One thing you told me that is quite interesting. You basically have these colored lines here, right?
Right, we have these colored lines in between. In order to avoid that, usually in inkjet printing, you use some kind of refresh mechanism, whether this is dots that are placed all over, which is when you look at these kind of postcards, high quality, a lot of color on. So we place refresh lines where you would usually cut. And so these act on the one hand side as cut marks. You can print in between different length of the postcards. And later on you go onto a slitter and make basically 5 rolls of it and then just cut them down and you're good to go.
So the colors here are more like a nozzle reset basically. Yeah.
Refreshment. So in order to avoid that we have any nozzle outs, here we flush the whole print head per color.
And that is just taken care of by the system. You don't have to do anything about it, right?
You just program it in.
Yeah. Fantastic. And that, of course, makes sure that you have this stunning quality throughout the entire print run. Yeah. I mean, these are examples from Canon. I mean, I take that you use your own technology also to test both the products, but also how it works for you as a communication piece, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how How, I mean, when you send out like this one with the QR code, do you get good feedback on it, or?
We usually, so the QR codes are usually, of course, measurable.
Yeah.
So we see the respondents are pretty good.
Yeah.
It is either personalized web page or a link that we can track back, and we see very good respondents because people just, I mean, it's Canon mailing them, so it must be important.
Of course.
There must be news in.
There must be news in. The last thing I want to talk to you about is this stunning calendar here. Heavy stock, I would say 300, 350 grams, or
300.
300, yeah. And it's almost like a cardboard stock type, right? Yeah. Just fantastic. So basically here it comes out in sets.
Comes out in sets, so that you can directly go into finishing them. Yeah. So no one needs to sort the pages. Yeah. It comes out in a set. Yeah. It could be, every set could look differently. Yeah. Yeah. And you just go into binding. Yeah.
Do you have customers doing this right now, or is this a great idea for future customers using digital this way?
This is I would call it an add-on application used by our customers. It is not that we have one dedicated calendar printer, but commercial customers, you know, buy variety, and especially online printers, they do everything from a postcard to a calendar. And this is where we see the calendars very often printed, and they really love the possibility to have one in a set and just finish it, because the run length is usually somewhere between 1 for a photo calendar up to, let's say, a few hundred for a wedding, for instance.
Fantastic. Cindy, I guess that working here in the Experience Center must give you a lot of pleasure watching all these beautiful things, right?
Right. I'm the first to see everything beautiful, and I'm first to see what our customers would like to check out. And that's always very amazing and interesting. And I love to see how they think further.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.